it's really like they said. The guy who said it was something like, I'm not homophobic," and that was his excuse for everything. And can we please stop talking about it? And we saw that with the volleyball team as well. That their excuse a couple of weeks ago was also, can we please not make this public? And it's sad to see so many big role models just trying to stay away from something that's hurtful instead of just owning up to it. And that's the problem that we see right now, is that they think an excuse is enough, rather than trying to be an advocate afterwards, and maybe look up, wait, what did I do wrong, and can I talk to somebody who's have been hurtful by comments like this. Instead they just said sorry and let's just move on, and that's what pisses me off. Well, I'm John Olsen. I'm 28 years old, and I've been playing ice hockey since I've been like basically 8 years old, and been playing pro for 6 or 7 years in the Swedish and Danish hockey league. And yeah, I've basically been playing up until now, until Corona came.
And you had the courage to come out publicly.
Yes.
When was that?
Oh, it's 2 years now. In I think it was in October I came out, if I remember correctly, on Danish national TV.
It was so cool. It was such an important moment in the hockey world, and I was like so proud of you and excited for you to live your truth. How did you get into hockey?
Well, it started my big brother Morten, he's 6 years older than me. He started playing hockey when he was about that age, and I got started when I was 8 years old, and it was something I felt was really fun, and I basically kept doing it ever since. And started as a goalie because you have a big brother and you're playing at home, and who's gonna be the goalie? None other, the younger guy. And I felt it was fun, so it's my goalie career started from that.
Jay, who's sitting in here, has an idea to start a queer goalie union, because it seems like most of the LGBTQ plus people, most of the queer men are male identifying, are goalies. It's really fun. Weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you love about hockey?
Well, what I love about hockey is I love the community we have, especially here in Denmark. It's quite small, so a lot of people know each other, and the fans too as well. So that's something I'm really proud of here in Denmark, and just going out there and competing on the ice, doing something that's pretty special. That's not many people who can stay on skates and trace a puck with full speed and having guys run you over, and being a goalie, especially for me, is super fun. Having that responsibility on your shoulder. I think you have the same thing to say about it, and
yeah,
making those huge saves to have your team stay in the game, and being someone that the team really relies on a lot, and you have to really be mentally strong on the ice. You're a lot by yourself out there, so that's something that I always feel like is fun, and I like to have that challenge to myself all the time going out there. So for me, being a goalie, having all that ice time too was also really fun. And the equipment as a goalie is, you can use so many things on your pads, and the equipment guys kind of hate you because they always see you every day around fixing something. So, and painting your helmet is also a thing that I really think is a fun thing you can do that the players can't do. So a lot of small things too.
Yeah, I used to love when I wanted to be a goalie, my dad made me give him reasons. And I think I'm a bit of a narcissist, because I said, every time you make a save, everyone cheers for you. I said, when after the game, everyone comes and congratulates you. And my third reason was the equipment's really cool.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, I totally, I love your answers. They're like spot on with my life. How could hockey be better for you as an LGBTQ plus person, and how could it be better for the queer community?
Well, to make it better, it would be to have more, I would say, guidance, more open talk about how it is being a LGBTQ plus athlete in hockey. I mean,
Mhm.
you see a lot of young LGBTQ plus teens going away from hockey. You older they get,
Yeah.
because they see these older guys they're looking up to on the bigger teams uh, throwing these phrases on the ice quite a lot still, and not only in hockey but in other sports. And the talk around it is still something that we have to talk more about and educate these bigger role models, because that's what I see is the reason why younger uh, athletes would try to go away from the sport that they love a lot, and try and finding something else where they can feel that community. Because it's something that I've been seeing myself growing up. You know, when I see these bigger guys talking about these things, you look up to them,
Hmm.
and hear them talk about things like this in such a matter is quite tough. And even the small things they can say on the field is hurting a lot of, especially younger uh, groups who don't really know too much about themselves right now. So for me, it would be having a more open talk about it. And right now, we see more and more happening about it. We just got a Danish tennis player who was yelling homophobic slurs at a opponent, which got a lot of publicity, thankfully. And for me, the way they handled it wasn't quite as I was hoping, and that's what I feel we have to build a lot on.
Yeah, like you even look at like Kevin Durant. I don't know if you saw that, the basketball player. He made like sent like DMs to a reporter, and they were really homophobic. And his response was, "I wish nobody saw that."
Mm,
Not "I'm sorry" or "this is wrong," just "I wish nobody saw it."
mm,
You know, it's those hidden things that happen in locker rooms, that happen in training facilities, that happen in arenas, that
mm,
we have to change that.
exactly. It's really like they said. The guy who said it was something like, I'm not homophobic," and that was his excuse for everything. And can we please stop talking about it? And we saw that with the volleyball team as well. That their excuse a couple of weeks ago was also, can we please not make this public? And you know, it's sad to see so many big role models just trying to stay away from something that's hurtful instead of just owning up to it. And that's the problem that we see right now, is that they think an excuse is enough, rather than trying to be an advocate afterwards, and maybe look up, wait, why, what did I do wrong, and can I talk to somebody who's, you know, have been hurtful by comments like this. Instead they just said sorry and let's just move on. And that's what pisses me off, sorry to say it.
No,
every
say it, say
every
it.
time I see it on television and media, it's just like a small excuse to think that's enough.
What made you decide to come out when you did?
Whew, there's a lot of things. uh, you know, when I was younger, playing in Sweden, I had a boyfriend at that time, and it was pretty much hidden from both of us. And it was something that was uh, really hurting my mental health a lot at that time, because I was young and I wanted to go to Sweden and play professional in the leagues over there. And finding out that you're gay and being 19 years old was really hard for me. And uh, I didn't really sleep that much for a year, I remember. And going back to Denmark, getting this opportunity to play pro in Denmark, uh, got me thinking a lot that if I want to stay like this, or what should I do? And should I just come out now and hope for the best, or should I just wait and see if I feel more mature later on in my life? But I definitely didn't want to stop playing pro and then come out. I wanted to be in the community, hockey community, playing pro and coming out and see what the reaction would be. So it was a lot of years where I didn't know how I was going to play, because it was so hard for me mentally if it was ready to come out or not, and if it would come out this season.
Yeah.
That was how it felt every year. Like, maybe this is a year that somebody's going to find out, or maybe this is a year where I can come out if the condition is perfect, which they almost never are.
Yeah.
So it was because I feel like this was the right time for me.
When all those times you wondered if this is the time, I know for me, the only time I felt okay, because I struggle, I didn't sleep either. I used, when I was in the OHL and playing pro, I was like drinking every day. I was really struggling. And the only time I didn't think about it was when I was on the ice. Was it the same for you, or did you take that on the ice with you?
I mean, for me, it was a little bit the same. I mean, on the ice, you always get told about the coaches and all the staff that, on the ice, you forget about your whole day. And it was that for me, on the ice, I felt like a different person.
Yeah.
Like you said, a little bit of narcissist. As a goalie, you kind of go into a character when you go on the ice. You have to do that mentally to be prepared to do your job in the pro levels, at least. And it was the same for me. I kind of played a character that wasn't really me that much, but more like a confident person of me. But there could be days where I could hear things in the locker room, talks about girlfriends or something like that, when you couldn't be in the conversation, or maybe they would ask you some questions about girls, or you could hear somebody using a homophobic slur in the locker room, just throwing out there, and that could sometimes throw my practice off a lot. Games, there could be bad days where I could feel like, okay, maybe I'm not mentally strong enough to play this game, but I had to do it, because when did you get the next chance to play a game? So those times was really tough, and it drained a lot of my energy. Some seasons was really tough. It depended on which team I played on, really, how the atmosphere in the locker room would be.
What keeps you in hockey? Like, it's your career, so that, but like knowing what you know about language and everything else, what keeps you going?
I feel like right now it's because I still feel like I can play on a high level.
Yeah.
And that I feel like I'm a better goalie now than I was before I came out, just because I feel a lot happier playing hockey now.
Yeah.
Because those days when you're in the locker room and you're talking about different things, and they ask you about just normal things like it would be any other guy, that feels so good for me. So having that feeling in the around hockey, where everybody know who you are, and the only thing they care about is how good you're feeling and how you're playing, it's really nice to have that too, because I've been waiting for that for years. So I'm really enjoying hockey a lot more now, in a way. I still, not to say I didn't enjoy it a lot before, but in a new way. It's kind of a new door opening up to hockey.
Well, you get to be yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels a lot more fun going to practice now, and I can't get it out of my head. I mean, I'm going to practice later today as a player, so I mean, which is a
I know, I
whole
got
other
you.
thing. So I can't get it out of my head. It's something the guys that I'm playing with and the guys I have besides hockey is some of the guys I really enjoy hanging out with, and the community here in Denmark is something that I feel like has shown a lot of character these last couple of years, and I just enjoy going out there and competing still.
I love it. And, you know, there's something free and liberating about being yourself and not going into the locker room every day, worried about who might know, who might not know, what if they find out. And also when there are those homophobic comments that you can't say anything.
Mm.
And when you get to be yourself, somebody else, you know, you go in there not fearing, does somebody know that I have a boyfriend or that I hooked up with a guy or this or that, you know what I mean? And then if there are homophobic comments, there's not only you there, but people now see you and go, hey, that's not cool.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's a free, safe space. Like you're free and it's a safe space.
Mm. Yeah, it's really nice. You know, they have your back now in total new ways. That is just something I kind of love seeing. You know, the month after I came out, I was still being thrown gay phrases, you know, gay slurs in the locker room, but it took seconds, and then either the guy who said it or another guy would like say, "Hey, you can't do that," and you know, and you could see the faces on the guys, you know, being all red, and like immediately when they said it, like they knew that it was wrong, and they knew they knew they didn't mean it. I knew it, but I still felt like I could, you know, like what's gonna
Yep.
happen, you know? And the way they handled it was something that I feel like is something everybody should do when they say things like that. You know, they said sorry and they said, "Oh, I didn't mean like that," and and then maybe they said something else they didn't mean, and then say, "Oh shit, I didn't even mean that either." Because then maybe they would say something else that wouldn't even be something that would feel acceptable at all.
Yeah.
And they would come up to me afterwards and talk to me and say, "Hey, I'm sorry I said that. I don't really hope that I didn't make you uncomfortable or hurt you. And I don't even know why I said it. And you know, what should I think about right now? Because I feel so ashamed." And I, you know, had some really good talks with the guys, and I know that they would never mean it because they were good friends to me.
Yes.
Uh, so after coming out has really been you feel a lot stronger too coming out, going to the locker room. It's totally different.
What gives you hope for queer people in hockey?
Well, seeing these young guys coming out so early in their career uh, is amazing. Was it Yannick?
Yeah.
Yeah, was just coming out like before being drafted, and you know, being so strong in such a young age, which I would love to have if it was me at that time, and that gives me hope that they are a lot more educated, a lot more themselves, and the people around them is a lot more yeah, you can say educated, or more aware of the fact that it doesn't really matter who you are, or it matters, but it doesn't matter what sexuality you are. You can still play hockey, and it's a community, and we want it to be better. And seeing these people around playing hockey in different levels and different sexualities, you know, in the hockey league, women's league too, and seeing these people coming out and being role models is really something that I feel like is good to see. I don't think we have ever heard so many people that you can talk about coming out, and I feel like younger people have so many people to look up to now. So it's still a long way, but I'm happy that I can say now, hey, if look at these guys and look at her and look at what they did.
Yeah.
You have support in the community.
I gotta tell you, you give me hope. Just your courage to come out in that environment gives me hope. The fact that you're still in there every day and people are changing their attitudes and behaviors, and even more importantly, their language, in some cases, because their attitudes and behaviors, I don't think always match their language. And knowing that they're going to have kids, and their kids are probably going to play hockey, and they're going to, when they're done playing pro, they're going to stay in hockey. And having people like you in there is going to shift it for the next group of coaches and these kids and everything else, because they're going to be like, no, you don't say that, because they played with you. And that matters so much. So thank you. John, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I just would like to say the same thing to you. Like, I mean, all the things you do for us is also such a big difference for us. What you do and what I see you doing really put hockey out in other spaces is also something that's just made a huge difference for me. I mean, I always talk about you and all these other role models, and for me, I'm so happy with what I did coming out, still playing, and I'm just so grateful to see some of these younger LGBTQ people coming out too, is shifting in the right way, and that's something that I am happy to see. So, and I'm so grateful to be on this right now. So, thank you a lot for that.
Well, thank you.